Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, and welcome again to the Radical Edge of HR. I'm Tanya Hawley. I'm very happy to be with you once again. And of course, I'm with HR Knowledge Source. And we've got, of course, a hot topic for you once again, one that's very close to heart for a lot of people. It's affecting a lot of folks. And today's topic is starting forward from uncertainty to opportunity. And as always, we bring you the experts to discuss this. And today, we even have a special guest host. While I'm usually your host, today I'm handing the reins over to someone who's quite capable in this situation to handle this. So please join me in welcoming back to our show, once again, to our podcast, Miss Ardie Harrison, who is Senior Vice President of Strategy and Client Development at HR Knowledge Source. Hey, Ardie.
Tanya, how are you doing?
Doing great. Always great to have you here. We always have a good time. So thank you
You
again
as
for
well.
coming.
Thank you.
And actually, this time it's in a different capacity because you get to be the host. So,
That's
uh-oh,
right.
watch out.
I walk in your shoes. Those are some big shoes to fill. So thank you for the opportunity.
You're so welcome. I'm not sure if that meant I had big feet or not, but I'm going to leave it alone. It's okay. All right. Let's welcome our subject matter expert for today. And we have someone that's new to you all. I'm excited to introduce Ms. Charlene Fitzpatrick, who is the CEO and founding partner for H3C. Welcome, Charlene.
Hello, ladies. How are you guys doing? It's good to be here.
Good to have you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for joining us. They're going to see why you are here as the subject matter expert because she's got a lot of expertness. Is that a word? Expertness?
I like that word. Let's use it.
Let's use it. It's a word now. That's right.
We'll go
But
with it. We'll go with it.
that's right. But last, certainly not least, we have our very special guest who I said he is our boots on the ground guest because his boots are on the ground, not from the dance necessarily, but in this situation. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Erwin Jansen. Thank you, Erwin, for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I got to match all of this energy that you guys are bringing.
Hi, Erwin.
Hello, hello, hello.
You'll be fine. So, without further ado, I am going to hand the microphone over to Miss Ardie Harrison and her very capable hands as the special host for today. So, you all have a great show. I'll be watching and listening and learning. It's all
Thank
yours,
you.
Ardie.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much. We are so excited to be here and really talking about an important topic from uncertainty to opportunity. And in this environment that we're in right now, there's so many displaced workers, particularly in the federal government and in other areas. But what does it feel like, coming out of a career that you've been in for quite some time, and all of a sudden you find yourself looking for your next opportunity? And we're really excited about how HR Knowledge Source and H3C has culminated their efforts together to come up with an amazing solution called Career Compass. And I'm so grateful to have you here today, Charlene, to really talk about what has actually inspired HR Knowledge Source and, of course, H3C to really create this Career Compass specifically for displaced government employees, but also how you've expanded it.
Well, thank you, Ardie. And I'm glad to talk to you about that. Well, both HR Knowledge Source and H3C, we were inspired by a shared commitment to serve those navigating unexpected career disruption. We recognized a growing need among displaced federal government employees and then came to realize that private sector workforces, as well as military individuals, were having similar experiences. And many of the displaced individuals had served for decades and suddenly found themselves needing to be re-enter a job market that looked so different than the last time that they were seeking employment opportunities. For many, the idea, and I can really relate to this, the idea of starting over is overwhelming and unfamiliar. Career Compass was born out of a desire to bridge that gap. We wanted to create a supportive, practical program that offers guidance, tools, and encouragement, helping people grow forward and confidently take the next steps in their careers, whatever that might look like for them.
Yeah, I love that idea of growing forward. And I too can imagine how that feels to have been in a career for so long and all of a sudden you find yourself wondering, where does my career go from here? So this sounds like an amazing journey that the two organizations have come together to create. And so I applaud both organizations for that. If you could, Charlene, would you just kind of walk us through what are the five core components of the program?
Oh, absolutely, Ardie. So, Career Compass is built, first of all, with empathy and intention,
Okay.
recognizing that both emotional and professional challenges that come with career disruption. So,
Hmm.
we have, as you mentioned, we have five components that work together to guide participants from uncertainty to confidence.
Hmm.
And so, that first one is personalized support.
Okay.
Every participant's journey is unique. We offer one on one guidance to help individuals assess their current situation, define their goals, and create personalized action plans
Mhm.
tailored to their experience, skills, and aspirations.
Mhm.
Now, of course, mindset and coping skills, that's number two, that's the second component.
Okay.
Navigating job loss or career transitions, that can be, and most of the time is really emotionally taxing.
Yeah. Yes.
It can be, it really can be. So, what we do is we help participants to build resilience and confidence through mindset coaching, practical strategies for managing stress, and tools to reframe challenges as opportunities, because that's the goal there.
Mhm.
And then number three is skills translation. So,
Mhm.
many individuals, especially if you've been in your role for a long time, like
Mhm.
government, they
Yeah.
struggle to articulate the value in a corporate context, right? So we help participants identify and translate their transferable skills into
Mhm.
language that resonates with today's employers for their resumes and in conversation as well.
Mhm.
And then, of course, we've all heard it a trillion times, right? We've all heard it a million times. Relationships, relationships, relationships.
Right.
And I think the reason that we hear that is because everything is about relationships. And
That's
so
right.
networking is number four. And relationship building, because it's essential to career growth. We teach participants how to expand their professional networks, tap into hidden job markets, and confidently engage in conversations that open doors to new opportunities. And then the last one is interview preparation.
Okay.
From crafting compelling personal narratives to practicing responses to common and tough questions, we ensure participants are interview ready. Our coaching helps them present their experience with clarity, credibility, and confidence. So, together, these components form a comprehensive, what we like to think of as human centered approach that meets participants where they are and empowers them to grow forward with clarity and purpose.
Charlene, this is so amazing. I mean, to have a program that provides personalized support, and then you focus on dealing with the individual's mindset and helping them with their coping skills, and then looking at how they can translate those skills into other areas like the private sector if they're coming out of government. And then, of course, showing them how to network and preparing for interviews. Like that is thorough, that is very comprehensive, and it truly is human centered. So, thank you so much for sharing how deep this program really is.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, the other thing too, the individuals that operate in the program, I understand that they're called the strategists. So you have career strategists; those are the individuals that actually counsel or coach the individuals. Okay,
That
and
is correct.
so what are the individuals that engage in the program? What are they called?
They're called navigators
Okay, great, great,
because
great.
they're navigating their way forward to more and new opportunities.
Okay, great. So then that means Erwin is a navigator.
Yes.
So, Erwin, we want to just thank you so much for being here as one of our navigators in the Career Compass program. And if you don't mind, would you just share with our audience just your background in your own words?
I'd be happy to, Ardie. My most recent role was within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. I was in a leadership position with an equal employment opportunity office there. But I am trained as an attorney. And for most of my career, worked in employment law. And so I, at one point, transitioned over into some HR related roles, which led me to the federal government workforce, and worked in several positions there, including in EEO work, anti harassment work, labor and employment work as well.
Thank you for that. I can only imagine, and I will never say I know how you feel, but I can only imagine what it must have felt like when you learned about your own displacement for the government. So if you don't mind sharing with our broad audience, can you just walk us through what was it like when you first learned about being displaced? And then if you don't mind, also add for us, like what were the emotions that you experienced?
Uh, in a word, Ardie, it was stunning. I was one of those people who showed up for work and was shown the door when I got there. My entry card did not work.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I literally was standing outside of my building, stunned at the news I'd just heard. One of the important aspects of federal government work for me was its stability.
Mhm.
And in an instant, that was taken away from me.
Wow.
So, in terms of emotion, it was uh, a bit overwhelming. I'm a person that prides myself on trying to maintain, uh, you know, calmness and stability. But certainly, when you're told that you no longer have your job, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's unsettling, and I was just kind of walking around in a daze because it took me a minute to comprehend what the news I had just heard.
hmm Yeah, that is a very real emotion. I felt every word of that as you were sharing. When you've been in a career for so long and all of a sudden the doors just literally shut. I mean, that had to be incredibly challenging for you. And if you don't mind, give us an idea about how long had you actually been in your government role? And then once this happened, like once you realized the doors were literally locked, like what was your biggest concern when you realized you were going to be in this plummeting transition of your career?
So that last role that I described, I'd been in for just over 5 years, with the government for a little bit longer than that in total.
Mhm.
And of course, the most immediate thing that comes to mind is how am I going to replace this income? I'm a practical person, and I have a family that depends on me for my income, and so uh, my the initial news uh, was before I had received a letter that gave me any of the details. So the first reaction was, oh my goodness, I'm not going to have the income that I derive from this position. Not to mention, the identity piece, the value that you feel from having a job to go to every day. I think that came a little later for me, but the initial reaction was, I'm going to have to figure out how to find another job and do it quickly.
Yeah, that in and of itself was daunting. It had to be, especially having been in the government for so long. And so, tell us a little bit about how you heard about this Career Compass program. What drew you to it, and just kind of give us some insights around that.
Well, because of what I just mentioned, needing to find a job quickly, I was all over the place looking, not only looking for jobs, but looking for resources that I could tap into to help me in my job search. And I came across something on a social media site that indicated that there was, an information session
Mhm.
uh, that was being held. I'm a resident of the Washington, D.C. area, and it was local to me. So I just decided to go and got there, and the information session was on Career Compass. Uh,
Mhm.
I was able to meet Charlene at that session,
Yeah.
along with Cherie Knowles, and um, the information that I heard was exactly what I needed. It was tailor made for me,
Mm.
uh, and that's what drew me in. I knew that I needed help, and I was in the presence of people who seemed to have the expertise that I knew that I needed to tap into to make my job search successful.
Yeah. I appreciate that one thing you said too, Erwin, about it was tailor made for you. That shares with us that you were open to the vulnerability that you had just experienced and that you're experiencing, and recognizing that there's areas that you have some opportunities to grow in and to learn. And so I appreciate you looking at this program as an option for you. And just out of curiosity, for those that are listening, thus far, and I know you're early in the program, what's been your experience with your career strategist and you as the career navigator thus far?
Well, a little inside knowledge for you guys. Ardie happens to be my career strategist. Uh, and I have no reservations in saying that she's been nothing short of phenomenal. We have been together only a short period of time, but um, I've learned that there's so much that I don't know. Uh, the world has literally changed since the last time I was in the job market, with the introduction of artificial intelligence and just the way people look for candidates for jobs. Um, Everything that I had at my disposal that I thought was good is now outdated.
Mm,
I would not really have known that had it not been for your insight, Artie. I was out there peddling a resume that is frankly inadequate.
mhm, mhm.
And I think that there are a lot of people in my same position that think that they know the best, most efficient way to find success in the job market, and they are working with outdated tools.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I appreciate the acknowledgement. We do have a bench of strategists, and I am fortunate enough to be working with you. And so I do appreciate that. This program is designed where it is a career strategist and a career navigator relationship. And so, if I may ask you, Charlene, just thinking about that, what, from your perspective, really makes an effective career strategist navigator partnership?
Oh, that's a great question, and I love Erwin's story. I just love that, and I'm glad that he's having such success with you, Artie, and all of the other strategists that we have. So, at the heart of an effective career strategist navigator partnership is mutual trust, collaboration, sprinkle in some accountability with compassion, and the navigator increases their confidence. The strategist brings structure, insight, and accountability, while the navigator brings lived experience, openness, and a willingness to engage in the process. And together, they form a team focused on forward movement of the navigator's career, because that's the whole goal.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I don't think it be would be possible. And it's also a trusting relationship. And if you were asked Irvin that same question, what would be your response in terms of what makes an effective career strategist and navigator partnership from your perspective?
Well, I think there has to be a willingness to engage, right?
Mhm.
I love the name Navigator because, as I mentioned, I was disoriented when I learned that I no longer was employed. And I love that I've got someone that I can look to for guidance in terms of where to go next. Through our interaction, Artie, I've done my best to be as straightforward and open as I can be. Give you all of the information that you need about me, so that you can process that information and give me feedback that is useful. So I think that that is the most important thing, is to just buy into the program and be open and honest about what it is that you need, what it is that you're looking for, so that the strategist can do their job effectively.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And I will also acknowledge that you're 100% correct, both you and Charlene, about the transparency in this confidential relationship will allow the strategist to come up with the best outcomes for the career navigator. And so, as we roll down to a close of this session, what's one thing you would say, or two maybe, Erwin, of those that are considering a program like this, or maybe they're on the fence? What would be your words to them as they consider their next move?
I would say to people that are in my position to take a deep look at yourself and kind of gauge what it is that you're actually looking for, and what it is that you need in order to reach that goal. Um, Me, uh, as I mentioned, I pretty quickly understood that I did not have myself what is necessary to get me to where I want to be.
Mhm.
And in listening to uh, the folks at the information session, um, it just occurred to me that I could find all of the things that I lacked in one place.
Mm.
It required a bit of an investment, but I don't want to just find the first available job. I want to find a job that is right for me, that suits the things that I want um, going forward in my career. And I believe that in order to do that, I need help. And so that's what I would say to someone is don't be afraid to go out and find the help that you need. And I believe this Career Compass program is an incredible tool with some people that are at the top of their field in terms of expertise that can provide that help, assistance, knowledge that you need, and walk you through the process of finding your next career choice.
Erwin, we thank you for that tremendously. And Charlene, I'd love to give you an opportunity if you have some final comments for those that are still thinking about such a program.
Well, that was so well done. I don't know what I could.
Hard to follow that one, right? This is
I
hard.
know that was hard to, that's going to be hard to follow. That was a great response to
Yeah.
a very good question. It's a very good question, Ardie. But I'll just add that, we want you to know, talking to the people out there, you do not have to navigate this alone.
Mhm.
Career transitions, especially those that are unexpected or disruptive, can feel isolating, overwhelming, as Erwin just described so well, and even paralyzing. But getting help means you're choosing to grow forward with support, strategy, and clarity. There's real power in having someone walk alongside you,
Mhm.
someone who can help you make sense of your experiences and translate your skills and guide you through the process with compassion and focus.
Mhm.
So, whether you're unsure where to begin or simply need a confidence boost, Career Compass is here to help you find direction, regain momentum, and remind you of your value. You're not alone. And so it just doesn't not make any sense at all that you have to go through this by yourself if you don't want to.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And I so agree with that. Looking for a job is a full time job. Having a partner where their total focus is you and giving you strategies to navigate the landfill of job search and this new way of searching is a greater way to consider your move forward. So, as we said earlier, we want to thank you for joining us today. If you want more information about the Career Compass program, we invite you to go to our website at www.hrksllc.com, and you will find information there and an opportunity to connect with us as we would love to connect with you. On behalf of the Radical Edge of HR, we want to thank you for your attendance today, for participating. Share this video. It's able for you to look at it again. And I'm going to pivot it over to Tanya. I'm sure she's got some additional final words.
Not that much. That was fantastic. Thank you all for doing such an amazing job and sharing that wonderful information. I learned from it, and I'm sure everyone else did. Artie, don't be coming after my job. You kind of
I
did a
won't.
good
I
job
promise you
there.
I
I'm
won't.
just saying.
I'll be your co-anchor.
Okay, that'll work. So, but I wanted to, the information was fabulous. I wanted to leave one more piece of information, and I probably will hand it over to Charlene, but isn't there a session or something coming up where people can learn more information about Career Compass?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. And thank you for that lead in, for throwing that to me there. I appreciate it, Tanya. We
I got you.
actually have a session and another information session, one just like the one that Erwin went to in DC. We have a virtual one coming up on July the 15th, I think it is, July 15th. And so if you want to find out about that, how do they get a hold of that information, Tanya?
What I would say, for the sake of this, let's give them the email. You can always go to the website, which Ardie gave, because Career Compass is on the HRKS website. So she said www.hrksllc.com, and you'll find information. But you can email us directly if you choose to, and that's careercompass@hrksllc.com. So we can
There
get
you
right back
go.
to you, send that, and we can get the information over to you as well. So I just wanted to slide in and make sure they got that. Thank you, Charlene.
Thank
All right,
you.
everybody, great job. Thank you all for joining us on the Radical Edge of HR. Remember, at HRKS, we know HR. We'll see you next time. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.